Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the C# tutorials. So in this video we'll be going over the continuation of arrays in C#. So in this one specifically we're doing two-dimensional arrays, 2D arrays, and then we'll do jagged arrays. Excuse me, so a 2D array is a two-dimensional or 2D array is like several identical arrays put together. So you can think of one array, it's a bunch of arrays beside each other, so it's kind of confusing. I've done this in every series that I have on my YouTube channel, but pretty much they can hold or they can store multiple sets of data. So let's just talk about this back on the screen here. So let's just get into some notes. Okay, so we have, let me just make it bigger. So we have rows and we have columns. Let's not forget the dash. Rows and columns. Or just rows and columns. So rows are the rows go so let's pretend we have some boxes here, like let me try to think of like a checkerboard or checker. Let's go with checkers. So there's a square, right? Denoted by the OR symbol, or half the OR symbol. Actually, yeah, that is the OR symbol, isn't it? Actually, OR might be two lines like that. So half an OR symbol, basically. So each one is really a square. I could even go with something like this. That's getting confusing. Let's just go with just the way first we had it. So basically like this. Okay, so there's rows here. Rows and columns. So the rows go across like this. That's a row. Then underneath is the next row. Underneath is the next row. Now columns go. So rows go. They pretty much go left to, well, rows. They go left to right. I may have mistaken this in the Python videos. My bad if I did. I'm sure I went through the debugger anyways, but columns go up and down. So this index, so columns go across. Well, technically, the thing is they go across. So I might have had it right. But they do go. Okay, that's gonna get confusing, isn't it? Columns go. So here, column 0 is right here. This is column 0. This is column 0. This is column 0. So this, as you can see, I'm gonna highlight the screen if you can see that. That's column. All this is column 0. All this is column 1. All this is column 2. So all this is row 0 across now. All this is row 1. And all this is row 2. So hopefully I said rows here. So row 2, row 1, row 0. This one is a column 0 and row 0. So column 0, column 1, column 2. So rows go horizontally, I guess, and columns go vertically. So I may have had it right in Python actually. I think just the way I explained it might have been confusing. So Python has 2D lists. C# just calls them arrays, just standard arrays. 2D arrays. I'm not sure. I think declaring a 2D array in C# might be a little different than normal. Let me just check that here. So let me delete this stuff. Selection sort. This is from the last video if you're interested. You can see the playlist. You can see the playlist for all the C# videos or any other languages. And other playlists as well. Okay, so let me just move this back up here. Alright, so let's try to instantiate a 2D array. Excuse me, so let's have a const int rows points to 3 and a private const int calls points to 4. So let's just go 3 by 3. So then we have a double array. Is this gonna work? 2D array points to new double rows calls. Whoops. Okay. Actually, I don't think that's the Java way. That's still pretty much a standard way to do it. And C, I believe, too. I don't think it likes that syntax, does it? 2D array points to new double rows calls. Don't think it likes that. Nope, don't think it likes that at all. Double 2D array. Yeah, no, it doesn't like that. Okay, so there's a different syntax in C#, which is silly. I don't know why they copied a whole language and then just changed little parts of it like this. Okay, so what you have to do is go private double like this with a comma. Is that a comma? No, comma. 2D array. Then here we go. Actually, I think. Can you not start a? What the heck is happening? Maybe you just can't start it with a letter, Ken. Is that true? One more time here, sorry. Maybe because I started it with a number, the variable name. Let's just see if that was the case. What the hell is this doing? Expected, okay. I don't think it likes that, to be honest. Nope. Alright, so the syntax has changed. Okay, so third tie is a charm, so we'll go with double. So there's supposed to be a comma here, but the problem is I don't think you can write this as an object reference variable then. which is silly. Perhaps. Let's try it. Then here we'll go with array points to new double rows calls. Does that work? That works. Okay, so it actually does work. So that's how you do it. The syntax is different in C#. But that's the way to do it, I guess. You just have to memorize it. Sometimes that's annoying when they, like, a language is all the same, and then they have small different changes here and there. You don't really use 2D arrays anyways, at least the first way to do arrays, like just single dimension arrays are just the same way as Java and C, I think, so that's fine. So this declares that the array variable references a 2D array. So it has basically rows and columns, so you could forget that, but you could just say 3 by 3 here, obviously, like that. So you should be able to just do that with, like, you could write your own size. Okay, so the thing is, now let's do a diagram of this. Let's just go with 2 by 2. Oh, you know what? I don't even want to write this out, but might as well. There's a special way to print out, the way to print out the 2D style of the array, which I'll have to figure out for you guys as well. There's like a trick to do it. You have to make sure you have to write a nested for loop. I'll show you guys how to do it. Okay, so right now we won't do that. Let's move this up. So we have an array, excuse me. So we have an array, a 2D array with 2 rows and 2 columns. So what does a diagram look like? 2 rows and 2 columns. That's 2 rows and 2 columns. So we have index 0. So this x here, the first x there to the left, top left, that's going to be row 0, column 0. So it goes rows and then columns, just like this. Rows and then calls. So if you think of like a graph, so basically a graph, there's x going on the horizontal axis and y going down on the vertical axis, right? So you could think of the first letter is x, second letter is y. So x is rows and y is columns. That's how I remember it. However you want to remember it, I'm not sure. So so we have here pretty much this x here. Let's fill this in with some kind of, here, A, B, C, and D. Let's go with that. The string, or whatever. A, B, C, and D. Okay, so we have, so in row 0, remember everything starts at 0. So so like this. So array of row 0, column 0 is going to point to the string A. Right. Then array of row. It continues with rows. So we go across first. So you can think of an array here, left to right, and an array here, left to right. So in row 0, column 1, which is going to be This is column 0. This is column 1, right? So then here we'll have points to B, like that. Then, instead of row 0, we'll move down to row 1. So array of row 1, column 0 will be, because this is still column 0. So that's going to be C. It can be confusing. Best way to do it is in the debugger. Walk through the debugger with a breakpoint. Okay, so here we'll have array of row 1, column 1, points at D. So that's how you do it. So hopefully you can figure that out. That's pretty much it. So accessing elements in a 2D array. Each element in a 2D array has 2 subscripts, one for its row and one for its columns, basically 2 indexes. Elements in row 0 are right here. Elements in row 1 are right there. So we already went over that. So of course you can change the values here. We could go E. So we could change array of index 0, array index 0, or array of row index 0, or just, I'm just going to say array index 0 and, so array of index 0, we'll change that to be E. So that's going to change. So array of index 0, index 1, that's going to be, we could change that to F, string F. We could change array of row 1, column 0 to EFG. Then we could change array of row 1, column 1 to H. That's the alphabet. Hopefully I got that right. Sorry, forgot to change these as well. G and H. Okay, so that's it. So you can define this array also. There's the other way to do it, so that's I think we just do it here. So we could go int, comma, array 2, array 2D points to, you have to do it, sometimes this can be a little bit tricky. So it's like this, so 1 on the outside like this, whoops, or on the inside. I might mess this up. What do we say? Let's just go with ABC. No, 1, 2, 3, we have an int in this case. So 1, oops, 1, 2. Then you have to put a comma here. It's a little confusing actually. I don't really go with this way to do 2D arrays. It's just too much work here to set that up. Okay, so it's like, what the hell is going on here? You're right, because it's missing a bracket, isn't it? Oh god. There we go. Okay, so then we open up another one. What the hell is Ryder doing here? So it's like this. then 2, comma 3. Then close it. Then like that. Okay, writer's trying to format it for me. Which is what I don't want. Stupid thing, isn't it? Second last one has a comma before it, then yeah, that's fine. Jesus Christ. Okay. There we go. So that's how you do it. It's really complicated. I'd just stick with I'd stick with the first way. It's just, I mean, there's probably a faster way to, like the way Ryder was trying to do it the first time. That's probably the faster way, but that's the way the docs have it. So that's how you can do it. So we'll just move on to that. From that. So we can use a nested loop to process 2D arrays. Okay, so let's just do this. Sorry. Okay, so let's do this. Finish up with this. Okay. So we can, let's see what we can do here. So we have, we could just use a constructor to do it. Let's take this out. Take that out, and we'll take this out. Move this up. Take that out. Okay, so let's start from here. So private constant int rows points to, let's go with 2. We could change this to 3 and 3. Why not? So here we'll have private int comma array 2D, excuse me, points to new int rows comma calls. Okay, like that. Actually, nope, sorry. Well, yeah, we can just do it in the as a field. Then we can have here, let's move that up. In the constructor, you could set up the array, why not? Well, what we could do is, we could say that we have a method here that's private void instantiate 2D array or something. Say that it takes an int array. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's just try that first. So we could say we have a random points at new random. So we have a random object. Then we can say we have, was there something wrong with this? Probably is. Probably like the syntax is wrong. Oh no, that actually works, okay. Which is silly because you can't instantiate an array like that, but you can say, okay, well, I have a method that takes a parameter of a 2D array like that. That's silly, right? Microsoft devs were smoking something they shouldn't have been smoking. because they messed up all this stuff. Okay, so we have random points to new random. Then we have for here int I points at 0. I'll go with I. The docs say to use row and call, but I just stick with this. So for int I points at 0, I is less than rows I plus plus. We're gonna nest this. I don't know if we've done nested for loops on here, but we'll try. I think we maybe have. So then we'll have a j here for j points to. Is this correct? There's also another way to do this, I think. But we'll just go with this. So for int j points to 0, j is less than calls j plus plus. Whoops, what the hell happened there? Oh, something happened here. What the hell is it doing? It's not getting that properly. Don't forget to say hell on Sundays. Okay, so we have. Let's move this up here. I don't know what the hell is going on. That should be. What the hell is this? That's the namespace. Okay, is there any problems with this? No. Okay, so now let's try this here. So we have, now we'll reference the array here, so we'll say array, let's just say it takes a 2D array. Now array of I, comma j points to random.next, passing in some random number between 100. There we go. Hopefully that works. There's a red lines here, that's not very good. Not very good at all. Okay, something's happening here. I think it could be the parameter. Maybe that just didn't work. Does that work? Okay, so Microsoft Devs just decided to just stick with this way. Right there. So you couldn't do that. It didn't give me the error at first and then it changed. So something's up with the IDE, and it's, I guess, it's silly that they changed the syntax anyways. This isn't gonna print anything though. We need another method to print it. That would work. So me walking through this right now is probably not that great. We will do this though at some point. You guys know how to walk through a debugger, right? Just set a breakpoint here, click the debug icon, and it'll start debugging. Make sure the code's set up to work properly. You can do this in a console app. If the visual aspect isn't really working. But basically I is going to start at 0. We could have used the length property, I think, but instead we're using this value here, 3 and 3. So call rows and calls both set to 3. So for I points to 0, I is less than 3 basically. I plus plus. For int j points to 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. So remember, the inner for loop iterates completely for every one iteration of the outer for loop. So while I points at 0, then j is going to point to 0. So array of index 0, comma 0. So it's going to fill the array with a random value. Then go to the bottom of this for loop, loop back up. Now j is going to increment by 1. So for j points to 1, j is less than 3, j plus plus, array of index 0, 1 is going to get filled, go down. It's going to get the index 0, 1, 2, so the last one. Going to fill that with a value, go down, then it's going to check the condition. It's going to say, okay, well, j points is 3, j is 3 less than 3. It's not. So then therefore this loop's going to get skipped. It's going to come down here, then it's going to go back up here because there's no more code. It's going to go back up, check the condition. Since this was still an iteration 0, this is going to become iteration 1, right? So now it's going to say I points to 1, I is less than 3, I plus plus. Now this one is going to iterate completely 0 to 3 again. Then this one's going to iterate one more time. It's going to add 1. J's going to, I is going to become 3, I think. Or 2. Maybe one last time, then get to 3. Then it's going to iterate completely. Then this one's going to be done. This one's going to be done after it iterates completely again. And that's going to be it. We're going to have a, what are we going to have? Let's pretend we had some, this like this, 2 and 2. So we only have rows set to 2, columns set to 2. Then this would have a random value between 100, 0 and 100, or 0 and 99 or something. So we'll have like this. Something like this. Right? That's what we would have. Some kind of random values, and it would be filling the indexes with them. So there you go. We could use nested loops to process 2D arrays as well. So let's go with that, perhaps. So private void instantiate array, or process. Let's just do one more little practice here. So we'll go with private void process 2D array, whatever. Takes parameter, takes an int. Takes an int array here. 2D array, I guess. Then we can, takes an int 2D array, some kind of array. Then we could say here that for int I points to, you may want to actually, this is fine. Int I points to 0, I is less than rows I plus plus for, whoops, for int j points to 0, I is less than, sorry, j is less than, calls j plus plus. You could say list box, for example, dot items dot add array of row I, column j. You could say dot toString, which we'll see some examples of this in the labs. That's pretty much it. That is 2D arrays in one lesson, I think. So we'll probably just end it there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, we'll be going over jagged arrays. Yes, we'll talk about it later on. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.